All right. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Power Pay, Seller Financing Homes Group, wherever you're seeing this podcast or recording at the moment. I'm excited. We have Jeff Watson on, attorney Jeff Watson. Most of you guys should know Jeff. If you don't, you definitely need to start following him and start becoming a lot more educated. And we're going to be diving into some good stuff that's going to help you guys as real estate investors, especially if you're involved in the seller financing world. Jeff, how you doing today?
Mark, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking, and it's a pleasure to be with you.
Nice. Are you down in Ohio or are you in Florida? Where are you located currently?
Today I'm in Ohio. I'm in Ohio for the next 9 or 10 days. I'm actually going to be semi-stationary for almost 2 weeks, which is unusual.
You're gonna have Chick-fil-A withdrawals then.
No, there's a Chick-fil-A within 30 minutes of where I live. I'll manage. I'll manage. I had leftovers on Sunday. I had Chick-fil-A
Oh, no.
leftovers on Sunday. So
It
yeah.
had to be because you can't get it on Sunday.
Oh, I know. I buy extra on Saturday.
They just opened one. I literally can walk to it. That's how close they open one to me now.
I'm
But it's
jealous.
weird. It's weird. It's a drive-through only, and and they have a walk-up. Like I've never seen one like that. Like the back when we were kids, and you'd walk up to a snack bar and you'd order there. That's how the Chick-fil-A is designed at that
There's
one.
one like that just outside of Love Field in Dallas, Texas, and there's one like that that is walk up only on the Strip in Vegas. So there's a
Oh,
couple of them out there, but they're very unusual.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess because they needed the drive-through for more traffic in their way designed it. They did three instead, so that's kind of why they designed
Yeah.
it because they're saying that they can't have that many vehicles in the parking lot. They just need them in and out.
Is it a 2 or 3 lane wide drive through now?
Three.
Yeah. Yeah. When they can get 3 lanes, they go for it, man. Because 2 lanes will be order in the drive through line, and then the third lane is mobile order, pre-order ahead. And they, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how that is. All right.
Then
Why don't you become a franchise? You know, they're opening them. I'm surprised you haven't started one yet.
it would require me to be tracked down to one specific location. And Mark, I'm way too feral for that. I'm way too. I gotta move. I gotta travel. I
You know,
gotta go.
when they were opening this one up, I went over there and just, I ride my bike, try to stay exercise. I pulled in, and it's a young kid, like I'd say mid-30s that owns that restaurant. He's got a couple of them. And I'm like, wow, I was surprised how young they are.
So the fact that he's got a couple of them is a big indicator. That means he's clearly in the top 8% of all operators in the nation because they only let the best of the best have a second location.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 He's good. He's good. Well, let's talk real estate since everybody's listening to us. We got into the restaurant business for a little bit. Now let's get back into the real estate business where the real money's made. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about what's coming up. And you're deeply involved in not litigation, but up in DC trying to get this seller financing bill through for a
Yeah.
while. Where are we at?
So that's a great question. I'm going to give you a background. Seller financing was a very popular technique at different times in the US economy. I remember my mom and her husband engaging in a seller finance transaction when they bought a home in Ohio and when they sold a home in Ohio. I've seen it on multiple other occasions when the economy, like it is now, particularly when we're in a stagflationary economy, seller financing is a powerful tool. Unfortunately, Congress, in its wisdom, a decade and a half ago, enacted some legislation that really hurt people that want to do seller financing. And it was part of a massive overhaul bill called Dodd-Frank. And as a result of that, there's a lot of fear, rumors, urban legends, myths, and so on, discouraging seller financing. We've been working now for close to 10 years to amend that little portion of Dodd-Frank to expand an exemption for seller financing, to take it from 3 to 24. The exemption amount isn't really everything we're after. We're also after the fact that we can then prove that the real estate investing industry, as disjointed and free spirited as it is and as we love it, has a voice at a seat in the housing policy table in Washington, D.C. Now, we've got a sliver of a seat at the table, but we need to expand that table reach. We need to get a better grip on what we've got. We've had to overcome the mortgage banking industry. We've had to overcome a lot of other organizations in order to move this bill as far as we have. And Mark, I'm going to tell you right where it is. The bill has been reintroduced again. It's a bipartisan bill. Yes, bipartisan. Even in this Congress, it's still bipartisan. We've got two Texas Democrats, a Philadelphia Democrat. We've got a bunch of Republicans. We need 12 more co-sponsors at a minimum. Andy Barr, our lead sponsor on the bill, the guy that co-authored the bill, I helped write it a few years ago. Uh, he wants 20, but 12 is the minimum. If we can pick up 20 more co-sponsors, we can move this bill out of committee. We can get this bill voted on the House floor, and it will become something that can get attached in legislation passed later this year in 2026. And Mark, I got to tell you, we can do this. We can do this. We've overcome a whole lot of opposition. We just now have to overcome what we call inertia because people are tired. They don't understand how hard it is to change legislation in Washington, D.C. It's so much easier to stop it than it is to change it.
Interesting. And so kind of, first of all, tell everybody a little bit about what Seller Financing Coalition.org, a little bit
Sure.
about that. You guys founded that quite some time ago. And if you guys are not a part of the association, you guys definitely should be because so you can be up to date on what's going on. Besides the federal level, you guys also do a lot of stuff in the state level, like you guys did stuff in Texas not too long ago.
We did some stuff in Texas because 25% of all seller finance transactions in the United States occur in the state of Texas. It's hard to believe, but they do. And so Texas became a secondary battleground for us because we saw the mortgage banking industry coming to Texas, and we felt that they were trying to stomp us out. While we were trying to win in DC, they were trying to kill our home base. So we've succeeded in pushing back in that area, and we've held the wall there. But the point here, Mark, is we as investors, there are hundreds of thousands of real estate investors that own residential real estate, and they need to have more options on how they choose to sell their homes. They may not ever choose to sell it by seller financing, but the option of doing it enhances the value of that home, enhances the value of their portfolio. And so, everybody listening to my voice, you and I, you're being asked by Mark and I to take 5 minutes and do seven simple little steps from the comfort and convenience of your own home or your own car or your own office, wherever you are. Seven simple little steps. We're going to lay it out for you. Just there's a link to click. It takes you to a thing called Voter Voice. Voter Voice is a very powerful, nonpartisan, not-for-profit tool used by several organizations to directly reach into each member of Congress's office. You're going to click on Voter Voice. You're going to enter your zip code for where you reside. You're going to then copy and paste the language that Mark and I give you. You can personalize it with a couple of factual statements about yourself, paste it into the format, and hit send. Mark, it's that simple. It's that
Nice.
simple. And what we know about Voter Voice is this: it gets through all of the other noise and clutter. It's something that is trackable and recordable by every member of Congress. So we know how many they got, and they know that we know we got how many they got. And so, what we've been told by multiple members of Congress, I've been told this many times. I've had even members of Congress on public stages say this. When they're reached out to by two or three or four members from their constituents from their district, when two, three, four people from their district reach out to them, they stop what they're doing and find out what's going on. Now, the bill that we're talking about is H.R. 6511. In Congress, it's known as the Barr-Gonzalez bill. That's because it's been around for a while. That's because of who Andy Barr is. That's because our lead sponsor, Andy Barr, is going to be the next senator from the state of Kentucky. So he's got a lot of political muscle right now. We need to give him the co-sponsors he needs to get it out of the committee he co-chairs and move it forward.
That's amazing. And it's bipartisan. So that's really because they know there's a need for the housing situation because look at where the
Yes,
rates have been stuck for quite some time. So it's going to
yes,
help the market and move their property. So it'll start stimulating everything.
it is. And here's the thing I'm going to tell everybody. You may not think that you can sell your home by seller financing, but as you learn more about seller financing by staying in this group and learning, did you hear me say that, folks? Stay in this group and learn. You're going to realize that you can sell or finance properties that you didn't think you could. You're going to find that there are some options out there. There's some ways of structuring it with partials and participations that'll let you exit and keep a portion of that note. So it's really important. If you don't advocate for seller financing, you're closing down your ability to do what you want to with your own homes. So folks, once again, Mark and I are asking you, take just a few simple minutes from the comfort of your own home and click on a link and follow 5 simple steps to increase the options and values and choices that you have to do with your real estate that you own now or that you're going to acquire in the future.
It's definitely Jeff, I've been following you. We've been at many events throughout the years, and seller financing, guys, if you're not aware of it, you definitely need to be aware of it. And because it's another whole tool in your tool belt that opens up, and it's another whole area of the industry where you're making money on the front end doing your real estate transactions, but then also there's another whole area of the industry where you can be creating notes and selling your notes into the second. That's another whole topic, but that's just
Yes.
opening the door for you on another time.
Yeah.
But you guys as investors, make sure if you know other investors as well, and if you're listening and watching it, share this to everybody that you know. Get this out to other people that you know in the industry, realtors, investors, whoever you know that's in the real estate game, even your friends. It doesn't really matter. Just get this out there and start sharing it, because it helps all of us in the real estate community to be able to have that tools in your tool belt to be able to do seller financing. So Jeff, we're going to put the link below, and then they're
Correct.
just going through the steps. Is that kind of
Yep.
just that's it?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, it's really a click, copy, paste, personalize, and send. It really is. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to explain why I want people to really understand the importance of seller financing. If you look at a chart called the Mortgage Credit Availability Index, and Mark, you're very familiar with that. We know that in about 2019, we were at an all-time high as the availability of credit from institutions, banks, mortgage lenders, et cetera, for people to buy homes. From then till now, 45% of the people who could qualify in 2019 are no longer eligible to qualify in 2026. In 7 years, they've closed the door on half the American home buying population. And so if we can open up seller financing, we make more availability of inventory. More availability is going to improve accessibility and affordability.
That's a good point. I was shocking. I knew it was a pretty high number, but I didn't realize it was almost half of how many
Yeah.
people that went out. That's just like really amazing. But anyways, so
It,
Jeff,
it,
if
it is,
people,
and I'm going to tell you one little thing about that. That picture, that infographic, is worth 10,000 words because Eddie Speed and I used that infographic in a meeting on Capitol Hill to close down the discussion from our biggest group of opponents to this bill. We put that on the table and they had no answer for why they can't do half of what they used to do. And I'm talking about the mortgage banking industry. They had their they looked at the numbers and they go, we had them right then. And Congressman
yep,
Barr turned and looked at him and said, I don't hear anything coming from you guys. We're pushing forward with this bill. You're either with me or you're going to be against me on everything I do.
good point. Now, once when people already when they sign up and do this, is there a way how they can follow the progress of this?
Sure, there is a way how they can follow the progress. And that's why what the other thing they're going to be asked to do is, hey, reply back. Say, I did it, so that we can track that. Because inside of Voter Voice, we'll know how many members of each district, how many people times in each district reached out to their member, so that we can then physically, through either what I'll do or what our lobbying group will do, get there in front of those members of Congress and say, hey, we know that 7 people from your district reached out in the last 2 weeks about this bill.
Good,
You know, you coming on board or not? You
perfect.
coming on board or not? Are you opposed to this bipartisan bill or not? you know?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's just going to help the
Yeah.
whole industry. It really will. That's
It
the
helps
bottom.
the whole industry. It helps every investor. And most importantly, it helps America.
Well, that's a huge point. It really does. It helps the whole entire country. I do want to take just 2 minutes and talk about this because some people listening to this may not even be aware of what Dodd-Frank is and all these regulations. They could be breaking the law and they're not even aware of this.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I know people that are choosing to ignore it because they don't want to follow it. And the rule is very simple. If you're selling to an owner occupant consumer user and you're selling a home that you own, you can do that 3 times a year without being licensed like you are Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whoever. But when you do your fourth transaction in a 12-month period of time, you need to have that license in place. But the other thing that we have to know is even though you have an exemption for 3 transactions and we want to raise it to 24, um, it does not lift you from the obligation, the very self-serving obligation of verifying the buyer borrower's ability to pay.
Yep.
You want to make sure that they can pay. Folks, we're here to set people up to succeed.
Yeah. And then the penalties, because once you get a complaint, they're going to look at all your transactions. I don't know how long you've been invested, but they're going to go back years and look at everything.
Everything.
So,
Everything. And that is,
yeah.
you do not want that. You do not want that. And so the simplest solution, and somebody's going to say, well, Jeff, no one's being tracked on it now. Yeah, just because they don't have the red light camera up at that intersection now doesn't mean it won't be there next week.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Again, we're going to post a link below. Guys, get out there. Make sure you share this. Once you sign it, get out there, share it to your friends and family and other colleagues in the industry that you know, and just get out there. We need your help. So get out there and help us.
Yep.
Jeff, thank you again.
Mark, thank you. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. There's so many good things that we always cover and chat about. And I want to just thank you for your time today. And I know we're going to connect again soon. So, yeah,
All right, guys. All right, get out there. Thanks so much, guys, and we will talk to you guys soon. Be well.
peace.
Bye.